Hey guys, welcome back to the Crypto Campfire podcast. This is the Professor.
And Mitch.
And today we're going to be talking with Kwun. He is the CEO of BXB Exchange.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Good. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. So we talked a little bit earlier. I'm kind of looking forward to hearing about your exchange. I know you said you're trying to take more of a social, easy to use aspect to the exchange rather than the more complicated interfaces that we're used to now. You want to tell us a little bit about how you're doing that and what your goals are for this?
Sure. So we found that the barrier to entry for trading is usually people find it too complicated. So when they go on an exchange, what's a limit order, what's a market order,
right.
How do I input my volume and all that. So that kind of deters people, and they have to learn what this stuff is in order not to make a mistake. So we've kind of taken all that away and given people options. So you can go from $1 all the way to $100, and then you kind of select your point there, and then we've given them a graphical line, so it gamified the whole thing, and players can buy and sell at any single point in time. They follow the BTC price. We've magnified the volatility so it can they get more of excitement out of it, and each trade they're placing actual trades on BTC contracts. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you say made it more volatile. What do you mean?
So we amplified the volatility by 5 times. So if you're the normal BTC price, right? So each move on that price is magnified 5 times to give spikes and stuff on our.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. So what mechanisms are you using to try and do that and accomplish that?
Sure, that's due to our strong market making partners. They're able to provide that kind of, because there's a lot of risk when you do that, because you're the only person doing that. But what we do is we hedge all the trades on the open market. So when a placer places a trade on our platform, it's immediately placed on our open market. So they make money or lose money from the open market, not from each other. And then we limit the rounds to 5 minutes, so losses are limited, and then also position limits. So it's really cool. It's most of our traders right now have never tried trading, and I think that's a testament to how easy the product is and how unique it is. Yeah.
It's kind of totally different market too, So we're just making almost a fun way of getting new people into the crypto space.
Yeah,
too,
definitely.
On the speculative side, which is cool too. But what kind of other stuff are you guys doing about adoption on the forefront? Do you guys going out and trying to bring new people into the space?
Yeah, that's our whole proposition. We don't want to just attack the current blockchain space or crypto space, because we find that's kind of limited, right? And as people, if you want to really create more adoption, you have to go out. So we're attacking people who've never traded or never tried crypto before, and they're loving the product, so that's why they're getting, it's easier for them to come in. If it's gamified, it's something fun they can do instead of oh, that's too complicated, what is all this stuff?
Right.
But if it's an easy way to do it, then that's way easier for them to come in. So most of our traders have never tried anything, so it's cool.
Right, that's awesome.
Especially since you can they can do it in such a way where it doesn't feel pressure, right? 'Cause
Correct.
You get that pressure when you're trying to learn the exchanges. So this, like you said, by keeping it fun, keeping it light, and making it easy, just makes it a no-brainer for people to want to at least try it, But then do you not then worry about them becoming so comfortable with it that they forget that they're actually spending money or losing money or making money? I mean,
it's crazy.
Sometimes when something's such a game, you don't really realize the reality behind it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, there's still traders that trade 14 hours straight. It's kind of crazy. We look at their trading data, and it's wow, you guys spend a lot of time on it. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but it's just I think they're really learning about the space and learning about crypto in general. It's once they like it, then they start learning oh, what's this other stuff you have on a platform?
Yeah,
we all have this other thing.
You get them in, you get them hooked a little bit, and then they start looking beyond what they've found.
Yeah.
Which is both of us too, and most of the people, you come in on, whether it's the speculative side or you found a game that you like or something, you come in for one reason.
Yep.
Right.
And then you start seeing, because crypto is so big, and there's so much, and there's so many people.
It's too much stuff.
Yeah, it's so much. And then you find the rest of that stuff, and then you're just hooked, and then you end up here doing a podcast.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's great.
It's kind of crazy road. Yeah. No, like you said, there's just a lot of stuff, and it's the best way is bring something that's accessible to people, and then once you got them on board, and that's when they start learning. So that's the hardest part.
What brought you into crypto to begin with?
So I've always been interested in trading. I was actually trading on the traditional markets, but I found there was a lot of barriers. So one, if I wanted to day trade, I needed 25 grand, which is too complicated.
Yeah.
And then I needed a lot of capital, and you need to apply for a lot of stuff. But with crypto, it's it's more open. So we were able to bring or test a lot of products and then we can put our own safety barriers of what we think people like, and so that's what really brought me in. It's like I could provide people with more stuff, and for us, it's all about making trading accessible to people.
Right.
And I was able to do that with crypto, so that's why I wanted to build this exchange and kind of this product to do that. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. So do you do the dev work on it, or do you?
I have a dev team. So our dev team, they come from the Shanghai Futures Exchange. Okay. So it's like the second to the NASDAQ. CME in terms of like trading volumes and stuff. So it's a strong team that really built this whole platform, and everything was done in-house, so we don't use any offline servers.
Okay.
So it's really like, it's a solid.
It's cool to hear that you have a dev team that's got experience like in the financial sector, and it's not just some devs off the street. That, I mean, I say off the street, but I'm not referring to like guys that don't know what they're doing. But I mean, sometimes you get really amazing developers that are really good in the field, but the financial sector, the fintech world is like. It's something special, it's a whole
it's very
different.
There's
a lot more math and a lot more things that are not common knowledge that you have to know as a dev in the space. So I love that you sourced them from the financial industry.
Because one issue we found, like with a lot of the exchanges, they're using like AWS servers, so it's like built for e-commerce. The price of stuff don't really change. So how are you able to provide like stable kind of platform? And we've seen that it's broken down on like some of the bigger exchanges. So for us, like we didn't want to do that. That's why we wanted to make everything solid in-house. Right. And it's also like using AWS, you're not able to match properly. So in finance, the big thing is like the first person to place the trade should be the first person to get it. But with cloud servers, they don't communicate with each other, so it's hard to like really do that.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes it tricky. You got that asynchronous issue,
Yeah.
It's trying to keep everybody in sync, keep all the trades happening.
Yeah, make it fair too.
Yeah, that's like the biggest challenge, I think, of a combination of security and that, because security takes processing power.
Yeah.
And if you don't have like top of the line everything, then you're slow, and you can't be slow if you're an exchange. It's got to be instant. Everything has to be immediate. Yeah. And so building a secure platform that can service massive amounts of users doing really highly important transactions. Like there's a lot at stake here. That's tough to do.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, like you were mentioning that because like one of our like selling points is like, so we find that there's 3 levels in building like servers. So L0, L1, and L2. So L2 is where your like cloud servers are, and that's on like memories, so your computer's memory. And then L0 is like down to the processor. And what's the fastest part of a computer? It's like the processor. And our system is like matches on L0, so it's like the fastest one you could really do. Yeah.
Nice low level. So
So are you
not all the abstractions to make it slow.
Are you guys self-funded, or did you?
Yeah, we're completely self-funded project. So everything was from our own capital. We built it that way so that we could kind of execute our own vision, and also like we didn't really need to raise. So if you don't need to raise, why do you?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's really cool. Every time that we've talked about crypto stuff, whether it was like a meetup or like the times that I went to like Block Show last year, there were so many ICOs.
Yeah.
And that was everybody was from an ICO.
Right.
But have we talked? We haven't talked to a single ICO today.
Not today.
Everybody's been self-funded.
It's all like.
And so everybody says ICOs are going to die out, and they are because they're blowing their money on dumb stuff, and they're. And I shouldn't loop them all together. There are great ICOs. There are great companies out there that have done ICOs, and they're actually using their funds well. But so many.
But it's just like anything. It's always the one asshole that ruins it for everyone. Right?
Exactly.
That's true, man.
It's just so exciting to see so many.
It just takes one.
Yeah.
The self-funded projects are the ones that are sticking around, though, because they're the ones that have the drive and the heart.
Yeah, it's like you're putting actual like your own money in it. So like, why do you want to?
Now, what about fee structures on your platform or on your exchange? What kind of fee structure do you have, and do you consider yourself at or below industry standards?
So we're below industry standards, I would say. Okay. It's just like because we want to.
I should say industry average.
Yeah, industry average. I think we're one of the lower ones in that case, and then especially for this tap trading, it's like really the lowest you can go. It's just because like we believed in making money from people doing their trading fees, right? It's like not from person winning or losing, but if you make it too expensive, then who's going to want to trade?
Right. So. But I mean, at what point do you say this much per trade when you're doing this kind of volume is just so ridiculous, right? Because there's so many exchanges out there that fee, it just, you think about how much is generated by that one fee versus all these transactions based on volume that's on that exchange. That's pretty astronomical, right?
Yeah.
And so at what point does an exchange say, okay, so we're going to give back to this community in a certain point, right? You're still making money, but you're making it on the volume versus off the individual trade.
For us, we're making more on like, another thing is like we don't have institutional traders on our platform, so we've closed our API, and we really wanted to build like a retail focus, because like we see it as like if you're playing retail traders with institutional players, it's like playing NBA players with like your pickup. Like who wins on that?
Right.
So that's why focus on bringing new people in.
Yeah, definitely. System. Yeah, gamified, and so it's like it has to be fair, and so that's why for us it's more about like volume in terms of people, and then the trading, individual trading volume. That's like we're giving up a lot of profits, but like in the long run, I feel like that's better when you get more adoption.
But you know, exactly, because it's called sacrifice by all of us that is due by all of us to bring adoption to this space, right? Or to bring more people into this space. I feel it's our duty because we were here first.
Correct, yeah.
Right? So we're the early people, and we were here for a reason.
Yeah.
Not just to make money, but to also set a standard and build a future for these new people coming in, right? And guide them into the space. So that is something to be said and special about, projects in that regard that can do that, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it boils down to this. It's if you are an exchange and you don't have any traders on your exchange, you're not going to have volume, and if you don't have volume, you don't have income, right?
Yeah.
So it all boils down to just like us. We need our listeners, because without our listeners, we wouldn't have a voice.
Definitely. It's like the people who provide the value to
exactly.
you.
And that's where I think a lot of places lose sight of, and I applaud you for holding on to that.
Thank you.
That's all I'm saying.
That's awesome. How we see it as well. So.
Right.
There's so many exchanges out there. They're so greedy, and which I get it. They're out. It's a business, and your job is to make the most money possible.
Yeah.
And not all of them are doing it in a bad way. A lot of them, they just have set their fees at a point where it's like, okay, maybe that's a little too excessive.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not like trying to screw people over or whatever, but sometimes it's just like dial it back. Now, on the other hand, there's exchanges like Binance and things like that where they take some of that money and they turn around and they use it for good stuff. So like Binance does a lot of things. They've got their charity foundation. They're always working with they've got startup incubators and things like that. What else do? They buy back some of the BNB token and burn it every year out of the profits. I mean, so there's some exchanges that do some really good stuff.
Back.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's cool to make money as long as you are
responsible.
Also, you don't have to give back, but be responsible. You're not, don't rake it in and go buy all the Lambos and run off with them. Granted, I'm going to be going and buying a 63 Stingray split window if I ever buy a Lambo.
Yeah.
Fuck the Lambo. I'm buying
exactly. I'm buying a new truck, so whatever. That's my Lambo.
No, man, it's good. I'm looking forward to going on there and kind of playing with it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fun
come
to
check
play
us
with
out.
systems.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So our live web version's live, BXB.io, and then we also have our Apple and Android version. So
awesome.
Okay, so I have one question for you before you go.
Sure.
If you could have any power in the world to do anything, what would that power be, and what would you use it for?
Wow, power to go here. Right now, I'm only thinking right now, but like it's being able to fly everywhere. Like fast,
So
like flying powers.
Transportation,
that's
transportation.
Because it makes it easier to reach people, right? Like you spend so much time traveling and stuff, it's like really hard. But like for us, it's like we want to reach as many people as possible. So being able to reach and fly, I feel like it's
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We asked
Good
somebody
answer.
if they could replace their hands with any household object, what would it be, and they came up with that's not a really household object, but helicopter hands attachment, so you could fly around.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, that's great.
It's
So
like
I guess
Edward
flying around
Scissorhands with like.
So you guys are self-funded.
Yep.
You're an exchange. We need to invite them to
Change Angel
the
might be
Change
interested in
Angel
hearing that.
website. Change Angel has a website that was created, or I should say, an interactive map that was created because of a couple of people on Twitter. I'm sorry.
I'll pull it up. Actually, I got it open right now.
So we got it up right here. So this map was created by Change Angel, and everywhere
2 weeks
you
ago,
see,
mind you.
2.5 weeks ago. So everywhere you see one of those little things is a card similar to this.
Okay.
Let's go to Australia here.
Yeah, let's go to Australia. So we got one in
Brisbane,
Australia, in Brisbane.
Oh, there's no tweet attached to this one.
Okay.
So when you plant a seed, you can attach a tweet, which is the tweet that you posted when you planted the seed.
Okay.
So here's one in Malaysia. I went there for a second.
Yeah.
Change Angel is broken, fix it. Bane, where are you? All right, here, let's try this.
No tweet attached.
There's a tweet.
There we go. There it is.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Another Jujubite seed planted.
Exactly. So a lot of times people will go and they'll actually take a picture when they plant a seed of the seed card sitting there, and then they'll post it in a tweet like this.
Okay.
Sometimes they just post it like this, but but then you can go on there and you can actually see where people are at. They're working on a feature now where people can, if they find the seed card, go on here and report where they found it.
Okay.
And it kind of like brings them back into the community and that kind of stuff.
Wow. Okay.
Actually,
definitely. I'll do that.
You know, one of the reasons I brought this up when this all first started, right? We were looking to find other projects that are able to help spread the adoption, right?
Yeah.
And by doing so, they would print off or vow to print off so many cards, right, that could be sent out to people that wanted to plant them.
Okay.
Right. So when all this first started, I was trying to get that to happen, but it seems to have fallen by the wayside, and everybody's kind of taken the responsibility out of their pocket and paying for this to make it happen. Which, in our minds, it's a very small thing to do.
Yeah.
As far as pay, it's a small price, right, to be able to be such a part of such a movement. But I still feel that there's many that are benefiting from this, right? And that should have some responsibility, whether it be paying for a couple of cards, to help in the movement. So I guess I'm asking you if that would be something you were interested in. You don't even have to answer right now because it's not fair to put you on the spot in front of the whole world.
Check it out, but it sounds like
But
it's
I'd like you to look into
open.
it and then consider something like that and get back with us, and we'd be happy to talk more about it.
Yeah, and at the very least, I mean, we can always get a seed card made up for your company, and then the file is available on Trick's website, so he's got all the seed cards out there right now.
Okay.
And then community members can just go download the file and print them.
Oh.
But like Mitch was saying, we really want to try to focus on getting the projects to print a bunch of these, or not. Like, for example, Change Angel went out and they printed a whole bunch, and they went to their conventions and they're putting the seeds all over. They're planting seeds, and so people are finding your cards and learning about and they're coming in from the outside, which is perfect for you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a gamified system, so
definitely.
Cards, they're gonna play
I'm gonna check that out. Yeah,
it'll be sweet.
And it could almost go in that same route, right? So that it's almost like the costs that the projects that did this would incur, right, would be, like you just said, it would be donated, right?
More or less.
So it would go, I lost track of where I was going with that. I was actually going with marketing, right?
Yeah.
So you pay for advertising in one form or another. So this is a form of advertising, right, that you could actually write off that cost.
Yeah.
So I see it being a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Well,
and it would help us farmers that want
to
to plant seeds,
pretty big, because we've been talking about it with some pretty big people today, and they're getting excited about it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really unique. I've never heard anything.
And the more information we can put out there, right, the
Yeah.
more people we reach, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely, yeah.
So,
Exactly.
Reaching
Well, I'm
out.
definitely going to be checking out BXB. I got to go play some training games.
right?
I better not do it tonight, though, because I won't be here tomorrow, and I'm supposed to be here tomorrow doing this.
Wait, you're not going to be here tomorrow?
No, I will be, but if I start playing this,
Get
right?
hooked all the
Okay.
way.
Exactly.
I lost you for a second again.
You're
Yeah.
like, shit, I got to do a podcast.
I know, right? Yeah, I got to do this all by myself. Oh,
man.
we're screwed.
Awesome. Well, thanks
I'm
for
sorry,
joining us.
dude,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you, guys.
Talking to you.
Awesome.
That was fun. I'm just
Really
excited to
appreciate it,
play
man.
with
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, it was
Thank you
great
so
to
much.
meet you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I think I left my card, or you guys?
Yeah, we
Yes,
got it.
yes, you did.
Awesome.
It's
It's
in
in
our
my
pile
pocket.
Somewhere.
You
Yeah, I
got
got
one
it.
of ours, right?
Yeah. Can
Okay,
I?
cool.
Which one? Just anyone?
Take either one.
All right, guys, take it easy.
That one's for the podcast. This one's me.